Hello everyone. Local is back, like every week, and let's see how it goes, how everything goes this week, because things changed. So if you may have noticed, last stream was once again a little bit of a mess, even though I checked and I tested a new configuration on OBS, and previously it was totally okay, and I was happy previously. Last stream I wasn't happy. I was actually, after the stream, pretty angry because I cannot understand what's going on, why it's not working properly. For that reason, some things changed, and we will see how that make the stream go. Maybe it will be better, maybe it will be worse. We will see. I'm streaming from a different computer. I'm streaming with a different service provider that provides internet to me, the connectivity. So let's see if it goes better than last time. If it does, that's positive. If it doesn't, that's okay. It's easy to change one of the things back that I tried today, that is the computer. I don't plan on changing back the internet service provider, as the quality is much better anyways. So I didn't actually test it with this computer. Let me see really quickly. Any speed test will do. Yeah, for that reason, many things may be a little bit different, and I may need to interact a bit more with things to make them work. So one thing for sure I'm not finding the chat. Which is odd. And I hope not. Wait a minute. Could it be some configuration of the stream that I changed? Oh, yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah. Let me see if I... Yeah, there it is. It was a configuration that I changed in the stream. But anyways, I changed it back and it seems alright. So far so good. I mean, the stream quality is currently excellent, but we will see. And my speed, my upload speed is higher than the download speed. But I will not show you because there were other information that are too important. Anyways, let's go into our usual topics. And yeah, as you can see, there is a little bit of jitter. which is something that I don't understand, but maybe it will get better, maybe no. I hope it doesn't impact too much what I plan to do during the stream. So these, as usual, were the notes from the last stream where we completed the templates configuration. I actually need to test it once again from this computer because I changed the computer, I migrated everything currently, but I didn't test it, so we will see if everything goes well, or maybe I need to do some troubleshooting of that kind. The plan today is to move on to the next part, the module for Fedora CoreOS, and then I would say that the modularity is kind of done, and we can move on to a quick and dirty Ansible playbook for OpenWRT, which I hope will work. It's I expect it to work because Ansible is agentless. It only needs SSH connectivity to any VM to be able to connect and perform operations. But we will see, I guess. I'm not sure. I guess I will look it up when it's time in a few streams, I would say. And this, I will do it offline as I mentioned before, but this comes after this. Which comes after this, so let's move on and work on what we need to work on today, which is this. And let's hope it will be slightly better when I do it like this. This I will reduce, given that I have zoomed in quite a bit. I hope it's actually zoomed in enough to be able to see everything properly. And one thing that you may see different is this part in the shell, and the actual shell being used is the Z shell. I didn't have time to really configure the shell, but it's not awful to use this one, to be honest. And I may have increased the font size in here as well, a little bit more than the usual configuration I had previously. So we need OpenTofu modular definitions. Perfect. In theory I need to go templates. Perfect. And I go, oh wait, I didn't install OpenTofu. Let me see. Let me see. Yes, I didn't. I configured everything apart the most basic thing, I guess. At least now I don't have to be afraid about the password you may hear, because I configured one that is trash. A little bit like most of my passwords for testing. Let's hope I don't forget it, which is something that I realized happened previously this morning when I worked on the configurations of this machine for the stream. Anyway, tofu init. So far so good. Let me do this once again. Yeah, tofu plan minus out tests. The file size changed. That's fair because from the URL we see things as they should be, basically. So compressed, basically. But anyways, if I go in here, maybe. Cluster, summary, it's nice, but storage. Nice, local, okay, perfect. So if I go tofu, apply test, it should work correctly without any issues. And not only that, I'm seeing that they are being recreated from scratch, possibly because I have the templates, I'm saying. I don't know if you can see it properly, but I can zoom in this as well. If you can see 9010 is present and 9005 was recreated. 9010 was recreated as well. It just wasn't, how to say, maybe it was too small to see, but these disappeared and reappeared, which may be connected to the inclusion of the virtual machine identifier VMID in the OpenTofu definition. This is perfect, and now we move on to the next step, which will mean this. We have templates definitions, we need FCOS definitions. I may be able to just COS into Fedora CoreOS definitions. Am I sure that I want to do it like this? Fedora CoreOS definitions. I think it's the name of the repo for Fedora CoreOS specifically. And for that reason I need a different name, slightly different and not that much. Fedora CoreOS, I guess, OpenTofu definitions. It's a mouthful, but what can I say? So now we have our module for the templates, and eventually I will need to how to say, I will need to, all right, I forgot about it, this thing. Okay, yeah, I will need to look into that as well, which is probably something that will happen today. So basically transform it into an image instead of a QCOW2. And if I go into somewhere that I don't remember, repositories, nope, disks, LVM, directory, ZFS, I didn't use ZFS, but anyways, this VM was created with an ISO, that maybe was here, ISOs, somewhere. I cannot remember where they are. I mean, there is a search in here, but it doesn't allow that search. Maybe in here. Local ISO. Yes, so format is ISO for both, I guess, but one is an actual ISO. The other is this, which is odd, but if it works, I don't care. We needed to confirm it works. Otherwise, I need some other way to do this thing. But it's okay. So what do we need to do? We need to replicate basically what's here in here, which means copy and wait a minute. That file is the only one I cannot show. So yeah, I thought I should be careful, and I was right. The provider instead, I don't care. I can copy and paste. So in here I will have modules, templates, and the module itself. So basically I need new folder, modules, and probably I'm making things more difficult for nothing for myself, but I don't care. And I need a new folder as well, which is called FCOS. And now I just have one snippet currently, but I will need more, which means in here I need to create more snippets. So I would say that first I go into creating the module that will do what I wanted it to do. So created the virtual machine, system template ID, but this is not present anymore. The snippet is there instead. Apart from the path that may be incorrect, router.ign. Oh, I went and took it directly from here. Nice. Yeah, I need to fix this stuff because it's not good. Not good. Not good. But anyways, it's okay. Ignition snippet, which is used in here. And this is totally okay. This is not okay. I will need to retrieve this. No, I don't need to retrieve this. I can just put this as is. Oh, they have a new version. Damn it. Let me work on it really quickly. Provider. Hello, provider. Thank you. Ah, yeah. Control S. 99.0. And we can save it. And I need to do the same in here. 99.0. We save it. And I need to go templates and init no tofu init minus upgrade error cannot resolve. Oh. Okay, maybe I need to change it also in here. Not sure, but we will see right away. Nope. There is some other place where there is the wrong one. This one. This one. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Tofu init. And we are good to go in theory. In theory. What do we need to do now? We need to clone a VM. A template, I have it. And the number seems to be just a number, so probably this is correct. And maybe I can just modify this temporarily. So I need to go a little bit more. So like this, I may modules like this. Oh, Jesus, wrong. Like this, I am in Fedora CoreOS. OpenTofu. Router.ign. In theory, this is alright. Now I need to create the module. So new file. And that new file seems to be located where? I need a variables file. I don't have variables currently. So that's okay. The provider, let's try without this. And let's see what happens. Maybe it happens what happened before, but I don't know. And I need the module itself. Okay, so new file. SUS module .tf, I guess. And now I didn't notice that someone wrote in the chat. I hope it wasn't like 20 minutes ago. I'm working on creating a cluster of virtual machines in my Proxmox host, and that those VMs will host a Kubernetes cluster. So let me see if I can read your name. Ava Sable, maybe? I'm not sure. But anyways, feel free to tell me what you think about, if you have any ideas. I'm new to interacting with people, so you are the first one. So I need to create a module. So far, so good. What will that module do? It needs to trigger this resource. What does the other module do? Source.modules-templates. So I need something like this for sure. Modules FCOS. So far so good. How do I trigger it? Because I don't have variables. Unless I put that in a variable currently. It's not a bad idea. Let's change this path into a variable. So we need another file, variables, in here. New file, variables.tf. And this should be helpful later because that is actually the thing I plan to have as a variable. And let me see if I can go in here. And I just need something easy. Copy. And it will be FCOS snippet. Perfect. Now, snippet will include. Oh, I need to see the module for. Where is it? Yeah, this can be closed. This can be closed. I need. This can be saved because that is definitely correct. I need this. So just this. So the name of the variable equal the value. That's totally okay because it's easy to do. So in the snippet, I take this. And I go. COS snippet equal this currently. And instead in snippet, instead of path, is it path? Yes, it is path, but it is the value, the variable. How do I use that? I can see it in here, maybe? No, in here. var dot name of the variable. Not in here, not, yes, in here. Var dot fcos snippet. So in theory, this should work. And it is right. 9010? No. 9005. So this is wrong. But it's an easy fix. So in theory, this should be correct. And this should be oh, nice. A bot I didn't configure. That is a beta bot. Did it work? So let's try. We are in the correct place. I think tofu init was already done. Tofu plan manus out test. I think I can use it. Oh, okay. All modules must have a label name. Oh, I forgot about that. Module FCOS VMs. Maybe. That other module, what did it test? Okay. So far so good. Okay, this module is not yet installed. Run of, oh, okay. Fair enough. Tofu init. Failed to query available provider packages. Cannot retrieve the list of available. Yeah, this kind of issue is something that I don't understand. The other time I fixed it with that provider configuration inside the module, which in theory is not needed. Let's see. Seems that somewhere in your configuration you have a resource that is declared with a resource type that starts with Azure instead of Azure RM. So the OpenTofu is guessing that you're trying to use provider named HashiCorp Azure in an attempt to backward compatible with old modules written for very old version of HashiCorp Terraform from before there were multiple namespaces for provider, and so all providers were effectively in the HashiCorp namespace. If you find that resource block and correct it, its resource type to have the Azure RAM prefix instead. Okay. Resource type. Resource type. You're talking about a resource type. Proxmox. Yeah, but that is what it should be called. Otherwise, this will not work. What the hell? Okay, let's try to see some other. Let's try to see some other. Whatever. Required providers. Do I really need to put the required providers into the module? Wow. Not sure how I did that, but it's okay. Modules. And creating modules, providers within modules. Because in here, required providers, to create the module requires a particular version of a specific provider, use a required providers block inside Terraform block. Trigger multiple configuration names, okay, but for convenience, in simple configuration, child module automatically default provider configuration. Oh, come on. Okay, so I need to add an alias, maybe? So the thing is, a provider block without an alias is the default configuration for that provider. The sources that don't set the provider meta argument, we use the default provider configuration that matches the first word of the resource type name. For example, an AWS instance resource uses the default AWS provider configuration unless otherwise stated. If there is no provider block defining the default configuration for a provider, OpenTofu will automatically infers OpenTofu automatically infers an empty default provider configuration for that provider. If the provider's configuration schema includes any required arguments, then the empty configuration would be invalid, and so an explicit provider block is required. A default provider configuration is not required nor inferred if for resources in a module explicitly select a different provider configuration using the provider meta arguments in their resource or data blocks. So provider AWS. I need to better understand this provider meta argument because it's not present in my provider. Is it? Yeah, I have it. Provider Proxmox. You see, Proxmox. Fuck's sake. provider Proxmox. And inside the resource I put provider, and I put google.europe, oppure sorry, I mixed the Italian as usual. Otherwise I put nothing. Select the Google provider configuration whose alias is Europe rather than the default configuration. So given this does not have is the default configuration, but when it is a module, okay, provider within modules, source dot child, source example back to provider. Why? It's telling me this, but it's not doing it. Because that's what I have. I have the module. Not declaring this module require providers block. Software forgets that you intend to use HashiCorp program, but provider does not exist. Add a declaration for a local name Proxmox to this module require providers block, specifying the full address source for the provider you intended to use. Okay, so I can use the provider argument. So I put provider within this resource block. Okay. Let's try this different solution, which will make me understand better things. Which means that in the snippet, I somehow put provider equal Proxmox not only in here but also in here. That is the name of the provider in here, so it should be correct. Let's see. Let's see. This content refers to the respective literary. Okay. Am I missing something? Providers. but yes, they are not quoted. So let's change that. And let's see if it's right. Fedora variable provider packages. Okay, so we lost one error. That was a warning. If so, you must specify that source address in each module, which requires that provider to see which module are currently depending. Tofu providers. And how do I do that? If you believe this provider is missing from the registry, please submit an issue. So you must specify source, that source address in each module requires that provider. Let's search a little bit more because I am annoyed by this. I need to put yeah, it seems that the solution I found the other time is the solution that is required, so I can delete that. And that I need to take the file provider.tf and copy it inside here. Paste. And in theory, I'm good to go. It seems so. Now we need to see if it works, which is a different set of things. So tofu plan test, perfect, and we go back to tofu apply test. Oh, okay. Creating no such file directory. Did I go to the wrong file? Maybe. So we need to go to COS. What is it? Fedora. Let's go this. Modules FCOS. And we take this. And we go ls-l. This. It's correct. So maybe I need to add at the beginning something like This? Not sure. What? This is new. Inconsistency dependency log file. What the hell is going on? Can't remember what generate this plan. Value provider register OpenTofu requires explicit configuration. Add a provider block to the root module and configure the provider where arguments that describe the provider documentation, missing proxies API endpoint. What the hell? I don't think so. I don't think so, but yeah, I don't think so at all. There is something wrong, definitely, on the changes I made in here somewhere, which seem to be just this, and I don't get it. So tofu init. I didn't change anything there. What the hell? What is going on? So, the previous error, inconsistent dependency log file. But it's okay because I changed the file. But the previous error instead was this. Wait. It's relative to this. You doofus. Yeah, so it's not this. So. Oh, now I know why as well. What a mess I did. I'm in the wrong folder. That's why it's getting angry at me. Which is totally okay. I got it. But at the same time, I messed up the module because the module is in here. Here we go. Not inside modules FCOS. So now it should be correct. Let's see. What? No such file directory. That's okay. Maybe it's like this. Yeah. So if I go like this, I have it. So let's remove another one. We go tofu init, and then we go tofu plan, and then we go tofu apply. Now it's going to be fun, to be honest, because it is recreating the VM. Let's see if it starts, and if it does what it should be doing. Okay, it started. Sure, it started. It seems to be working, which is great. But let's actually see if it works, because it should reboot. a couple of times. I don't remember how many times. Booting. Is it working or is it not working? I don't get it either. It's looping, it seems. No codecs found. Failed something. Oh yeah. It would seem that a full screen anything is not liked by the stream setup, but the stream is healthy. So far so good. And in theory, please, sage root should be 100. Yes. Why not? 40, I go in it. Yeah. I can ping it. Is it maybe not this? Yeah, but this is not starting. There is an issue, and it may be that it's not an ISO, it's an image, whereas it is actually an ISO inside of it. Or is it is a QCOW2 image? Why did it transform into an ISO? I didn't transform it into an ISO manually. What? So if I go into the old template, the SCSI 0, okay, cloud init, nothing. Task history, whatever, backup, replication, task history. Permissions. If I go into this one, is the configuration option somehow seems to be identical, but the SMB BIOS setting UID, it's a UID unifier, unique unified identifier, something like that. So I don't really get it. Oh, in here there is something different. Something very different. We have network device and an FI disk. But this is because it's different, so to be clear, this is working correctly. Okay. Oh, wait, this may be the reason. Because this one This one, give me a second, is 100. So maybe this is getting angry because that is 100. I don't think so. But I can shut down. Yes. And yeah. Now if I ping, it's in there. Shouldn't be still there. Start. Let's start it once again. Maybe I am missing something. Okay, we're there. And instead of the thank you. 100, and this is core. Yeah, I don't remember the option, but I have it in my notes. Somewhere over the rainbow. So, providers. It seems that the configuration of the required providers is necessary. So it was the best solution ever. I didn't like it for some reason. Then we have module. The module is working correctly. The snippet as a variable seems to be correct, but not certain. Wait, I have a way to test it because I can put this as the template that is cloned, and I can delete this VM. So we go into shutdown. Yes. And we go into, where is it? How do I destroy this? More. Remove. 1, 2. Purge from the configuration, destroy the discount by guest. Okay, so here we are, and most likely if I go in here, yeah, if I go like this it works, but if I go like this, key verification failed. It's strange that it's, maybe it's this. Let's shut down this as well, and let's destroy this as well. Which is not here. Hello? remove 104. Awesome. Now we need to slightly change this into 9001. And with this change, okay, the VM that is created is different. It is with the previous template that was working correctly. Is it? Which template was it? This one. This was the template with telmate. The manual template. This is the template that I created with this. It's the same. So okay. In theory this should be working. No working init found. Try passing init option. Yeah. Wrong template. Wrong template. Because it expects a different kind of work. Okay. But the 101 instead. What happens with this? Okay, it's recreating it. Yes. It is recreating things. And how is it going? Will it have the same issues? No. And this was the manual template. The template done without the module, created without the module. I do like the usage of the module, but I need to find a way to download the resource better, it seems. Yeah, that will work and will configure everything, I expect. Since it restarted. I don't know if I can. Yeah, this will make it smaller actually. Maybe like this. And yes, so in here, yeah, that changed is true, but somewhere in here with Fedora CoreOS, year closure, Fedora CoreOS, more systemd. No, if I search SSH, maybe in here. Tell me I didn't save it. Yeah. Minus. Oh. This equal no, if I recall correctly. So sh minus so this equal no, and we are inside it. Yeah, it will be changing. It's not going to be router anymore, given that I had strange ideas in the past. We are inside, and if I go net bird status, yeah, no worries. Because I guess I need to configure it first, but that's not an issue. Not an issue that I have right now, at least. So we confirmed that so 101 is configured basically in the exact way. And yeah, by the way, 9001, I can remove it. And at this point, 9002 as well. Cleaning up a little bit is not an issue. But it seems that the 9005 instead of the 101 the only difference seems to be the image is the only difference. Therefore, I need to go back into the creation of the templates and fix it, basically, before moving on. And it is this thing that is giving me problems. Because previously, if we go in here, I have import from, and it is a QCOW2. But the other day, it seems that import from didn't support the... I did find something about Fedora CoreOS in here. So let's search in a bad way, I guess. This one was clarified. That can be useful. ppg OpenTofu. I can do it. Fedora CoreOS. Where is it? Proxmox. Maybe. Okay, it's not in here, but I did find it somewhere. cloud image. Yes, in here. Okay, create a VM from a compressed cloud image. Some distributions like Fedora CoreOS only provide cloud images in compressed formats. Proxmox does not directly support XZ compressed images, but its ZST decompression can handle XZ archives. Compressed image cannot be used with import from. You must use file ID with content type ISO instead. And this requires SSH configuration in the provider. So this I have it, and if I go into the, where is it? Images download. Content type ISO. And there it is. So that means that resource is like this, but file name qcow2.image. Okay, interesting. So it's not in the variables. I don't think the name changes the content, but it's the only freaking thing that changed. So where am I? Thank you. Module. So in here we can do this maybe. And then the resource, stop and destroy, disk data storage, file ID, CoreOS image.id, VRTIO, size 20. CS module. Once again, it's not this that I'm looking for. I can fix them later. So, local VM. Use file stuff. .tt. True. But why is it not working? Is the exact same thing? I don't have an FAI disk in here, as far as I can see. I don't have an FAI disk. Let's remove it. Maybe it's not needed. Core 2, dedicated memory, floating 0. Yeah, that's my idea. Stop and destroy. I didn't. I don't think I need this. Checksum. Content type ISO. Yeah, but this is the download, the images download. Okay. Content type ISO, data store local, not name, Proxmox, because that is my own name. URL, variable, checksum variable, checksum algorithm. See, file name, variable, which changed just a moment ago. It shouldn't matter. The changes I made are one on a name and this thing that I didn't have in here is not something that I need to change, because I put OVMF, so I need the DFI disk. Data store ID, file ID, interface, IO thread, discard, and size. CoreOS image, FCOS, temp, QCaucho, FCOS, temp, QCaucho. I don't think the name will change anything, but you never know. So I need to go in here, I need to go in here, templates, and I need to go tofu init, and then I need to go not an issue, apply. Now it will destroy and recreate the templates once again. And as soon as it is done, we will rock you. We will try again to use this template for the creation of the VM. Hoping it works. So back again. In here, yeah, and we put 9005. FCOS, perfect. This is the resource, so I don't need the tofu in it. I just need this and this. So 102. Was destroyed and it's restarting. And let's see if it loops like before, if it goes better. I have no idea. Let me do this, that maybe if it's a little bit bigger. Not having an issue this time. Let's see if it reboots. It takes a while, but it's not an issue. It rebooted. It rebooted. Oh yeah, this is stuck now. Yeah, wait. Oh, come on. We are in, and NetBird is there. NetBird is there. Host name -f, not .f. We are rocking because this was completed, And I'm not sure if the name of the file was the issue, but I recreated it and it works. So eventually I will delete these two. And that means actually that I'm done with OpenTofu for a while, I think. I think so. And what time is it? I have a little bit of time to understand what are the needs of a guest, I guess we could call it, or a managed node. What is the need of a managed node? For Ansible. Okay, so module. Oh, wait. Wrong. Really, really wrong. Works correctly. And that's it. Now, I'm wrong. Why am I wrong? I need to create 5 virtual machines with Fedora CoreOS. And now I'm just creating the one. Therefore, I need to have the different snippets, and I need to have also the for each, or we will see how exactly, maybe the count, meta arguments in the module. Therefore, single VM creation is working. What is next? One. Clean up the ignition file of the one VM. Creation of the snippet files for VM 2 to 5 for the time being. Modification of the module into of the OpenTofu module. OpenTofu module for the support of either for each, maybe, oh come on, maybe count meta arguments to use all those snippets. And this is what's coming next, basically. And cleanup of the ignition file means instead of router, it will be maybe, I don't know, control plane or whatever. It's the first VM. It will be likely the first master of the Kubernetes cluster. Then there will be another master. And then there will be 3 workers, basically. So 2 control planes, 3 workers. For the time being, I think that's good enough. Or maybe the opposite, 3 control planes and 2 workers. I will need to look up a little bit more about Kubernetes because I haven't touched it for months. Which is okay, but I'm getting closer to that. And after I'm done with this, I will go into Ansible and understanding if I can use Ansible with OpenWRT. I have some doubts, but I'm not certain, basically. So given that we are doing good and that the stream was extremely healthy, I think I will stop it now. And maybe let's see if the recording of the streaming, the local recording of the streaming also works. Because last time it actually didn't work properly. It worked okay. No, it didn't work okay. It worked as in it recorded 1 hour of the stream, the same amount of time of the streamed one for some reason, and I don't know. I didn't even re-watch that stream because I was so angry about that stream. So we will see. So let me think a little bit. One thing is for sure important is that we are going forward and things are moving on in the correct direction. We are getting closer and closer to what I want to actually do in a replicable, I hope it's a word. I can replicate whatever I need to do in minutes. That's the whole point of these weeks, months of work. I still have a lot to do, especially coming from the previous streams, such as working on the timestamps and the repositories, but given the last stream unfortunate events, I was a little bit pissed off. Apart from that, I have in the back of my mind an idea about a possible first video that is not a stream. I need to work a little bit on it, do some research and start working on it. It's a little bit different from the stream. It's more related to why I do these things. If you don't know, you may want to watch maybe, what was it, the first 40 minutes of the very first stream I did last year in October, if I recall correctly, because I talk about what is driving me into doing what I'm doing. I will give you just a couple of words in here, and that is I'm annoyed that my personal information is in the hands of multi-million-dollar corporations, international, multinational. I don't know if it's something that works like that, but international corporations that have countless power, countless money. I don't know if those aren't countable, so maybe it doesn't work with countless, but a lot of money and a lot of power. And I'm part of, no, not I'm part of the problem currently, because part of my information they use it to have that power and those money. Even if maybe I contribute to that in a very indirect and small way, I will go away from that, and I want for that reason to have a cluster that has all the services I need and the services I want, because some of them are wants, not needs, which I can use for myself and maybe for a restricted amount of people that are close to me. So basically, I want to de-Google myself completely, but not just Google. I want to everything myself. That is, any service is something that I host in-house. As much as possible. Currently I cannot let's talk a little bit. When you want to have control of your own things, how can you do it? You can do it when you control every single step from the source to the final thing. So in a production environment, so let's say that I want to produce this pencil. Okay, what can I do? I need the graphite for the writing part of the pencil. I need the wood for the pencil itself. I also need some kind of, if you can see in here, some kind of ink for the green, but also for the golden part. And there is some plastic that holds the eraser and the eraser itself. How do I get to own this completely? By creating it myself, and that means that all of the above, all of the list of things that I made needs to be something I provide by myself. Okay, on top of all the labor to create it and the machinery to create it. That is a complete vertical solution, starting from the basic sources and reaching to the final product. How can we do it with something that is not a physical product but a service? If I host the service, I can connect to it directly, but to host the service I need a computer, and the computer needs to be reachable from the internet somehow. And it is not too difficult. But there is something else. What is that something else? The computer runs on electricity, and the connectivity is provided by an internet service provider, whichever you have. And if I could work on the first one, I would. That is using solar panels or renewable energy to power on and to keep power in my house, which is not mine, to be clear. Eventually one day in an house that I own, and for that reason I could have electricity completely without being connected to a grid that provides it to me. That grid could fail right now. And for that reason, I have a UPS, but it is a UPS that is an old one, and there are so many things connected to it that it will not hold for days or hours. It will hold for minutes maybe. And that's okay. It's a current solution that is more related to the to providing clean energy to my machines than keeping them alive if everything is shut down. The electricity is shut down. So, electricity I can work on in the future. Internet, I cannot. I don't have the resources. I don't think I will ever be able to have those resources necessary to basically own an internet service provider, because that is the solution to have internet that is yours. You own the company that provides the resource. And when you do, you are certain that your ISP, which is yourself, does not do anything weird. But yes, I'm starting to sound almost conspiracy theorist maybe, but if you ever self-host any service, try to look into the logs of that service. That could be image, for example, for the hosting of your own images, or it can be Jellyfin if you want to have some digital copies of your own films that you own, Blu-rays, DVDs, and such. Or maybe some other content. For example, in my Jellyfin, I have all the streams that I do, the recordings. Some of them are corrupted, as you know. If you look into the logs of those services, you can see the level at which the level of information you can gather and you can have about your usage of those services you self-host. Now, do it. It's my advice, because you can see the level of detail that is available there. And those are open source projects, the one I named, but anything you self-host is usually, maybe not everything, but most things are usually open source. So they were logs that were maybe needed to understand that everything was working correctly and such, right? And to understand what was going on. So maybe the verbosity could be even higher. And there may be a configuration to have a higher verbosity in the logging, which by default usually always is not enabled. The reason is that otherwise the logs become very verbose, and they could even impact the performances of the service and the virtual machine or physical host dedicated to things that are not really needed unless you are troubleshooting something. So if you can understand that those information you see in your own services are present in depth. Any operation you do is logged, pretty much, I can tell you. But please do look into it yourself. And my question is, before I become a little bit, how to say, annoying, my question is there a reason for multi-million dollars corporations in the services that they provide for free for most people, or maybe for a very small fee to people? Is there a reason for them to have less such information? It's my opinion that the verbosity will be always high in those cases, because those are the information they use to gather the power they have. It's not the single image you put on Instagram or the single post that may have millions of interactions, like, what was it? That single egg. I don't know if it's still the photo of an egg is still the most liked or most whatever on Instagram. I don't remember, but for a moment it was, at least. So it's not that the information they care about is all the interaction we do with the infrastructure that they can use in weird ways and sell those information. And I don't want to give that kind of information to anybody anymore, unless I actually do want it, unless I actually explicitly want to give such information. I was discussing a little bit, and I know I'm almost to the point that it could be called paranoia. Maybe. I don't know if that word is like that in English as well. But anyways, I was talking with a couple of friends a few days ago, and they mentioned that the way in which they manage passwords, and I was I was almost having an heart attack with because one of them said, yeah, for the passwords, like for my electricity and such, for those providers that they have a platform that you can access and you can check the information. And they were like, yeah, for those passwords I have a text file somewhere and the passwords are there. And I was like, no, please don't. please, whatever. I mean, maybe a physical text file somehow is better than having them on the browser from some point of view, because it's, technically speaking, a file inside your own computer is self-hosted. It's not connected to the internet. It's not going. I mean, it's not connected to the internet. The last version of Notepad on Windows 11, they added what was it? They added the AI features, so it would connect to the internet. So goodbye about having something completely on your machine that is not reachable from the internet, I guess. But apart from that, don't do that, please. There are many solutions better than that. And they were like, yeah, but I mean, who cares? Which is a fair point. Who cares? And that is definitely an important point. If you care about your own data, you may want to work in a way that you keep it safe. If you don't care about your own data, you can decide that you can use the services provided by others, especially if they are for free, because what is the issue? So I guess the last thing I would say before the stream ends is that it's important to understand what do you care about. I started these streams by saying that I care about self-hosting, and that's true. It's fun for me. Doing the streams is fun. Apart when the stream doesn't work, but the things I do during the stream are a lot of fun for me, on top of everything else. But it's more than just fun. The main reason I'm trying to make it easy to replicate is because eventually anybody with a few commands could be able to have an infrastructure that is similar to mine. And that is why everything I create, every configuration is open source and is available online, I guess. Not really, because I need still to upload a bunch of things, especially about the OpenTofu stuff that is definitely not there. So maybe, yeah, that's the idea. Okay, it's not ready yet, so even if it's not available, who cares? But yeah, if you care about your privacy and your own data, where it goes, it's important that you do some research and understand where it's going. And that is something that I didn't do in depth, but I definitely did a little bit. More than that, with the work I do, I've seen the level. As I said, go into any service you self-host and check the level of logging you have. My job, it evolved during the years. For a while, I was a solution architect in my company. And for that reason, I would be able to provide certain services. I will not go in details, but certain services, and see the level of detail that I could access to as a solution architect and system administrator of that service we hosted. And it was on one side eye-opening, on the other side scary. As I said, if something you host yourself has a level of logging that lets you know everything that has been done in that infrastructure, why would Google or Amazon or Netflix or Microsoft or Alibaba, anybody that provides a service online, why would they have less information? If you care about that, well, my streams are here, and as I said, it all started from this. As I said, I have the idea of a first possible video where I talk about something related to this. Now it was my thoughts, just my thoughts as they came out of my brain. I didn't actually prepare anything. With an actual video I would prepare, I would do some research and such. I will do. But anyways, I think it's time for me to go. Therefore, have a good day, evening, morning, whatever, night. Luckily out. Bye. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Very yes. Not the moment, but this may be interesting. Oh, March 22nd. Can I go directly to this one?